Watauga Arts Council with your host, Cherry Johnson, serving arts in Watauga County for more than 30 years.
Hi, I'm Cherry Johnson with Watauga County Arts Council, and one of the things that we do is to help celebrate the arts all through our community. And one that I kind of like celebrating, in part because it says it's the end of winter, is the Spring Appalachian Dance Ensemble, and that's coming up very, very soon. We have with us Nisha Jackson and Laurie Atkins. For those of you that are locals, Laurie's a familiar face. She grew up here in this community and is now a professor at the university, teaching dance. Now, Nisha and Laurie, you're a student, right?
Yes,
and
ma'am.
you're a choreographer, and you're also a dancer, right?
Yes, I will be dancing in Sharon's Price piece, and I'm also choreographing a piece called Strange Desire.
Okay, now you're what year?
I'm a sophomore.
Well, that's pretty surprising to be a sophomore and do all of that.
Yes.
I was expecting her to say senior.
Yeah, this is unusual for
It
a
is.
sophomore to
I don't
be.
think I've ever met one to be let do that much stuff. You know, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it speaks a lot, I think, to Nisha's potential, and she auditioned along with all the other choreography students and earned a spot, and so we're really proud to have her.
Do many sophomores try for that?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. Usually sophomores, juniors, and seniors come out to the audition.
But you went right out there and got it first thing,
Yes.
first year.
Got pretty lucky.
That's wonderful. What's your background?
I've been dancing since I was 3, and I grew up in a studio and came to college, and it was completely different, but I just worked hard and was able to get picked for this.
Okay, now explain. I grew up in a studio.
Well, studio dancing is a lot different than at a university. It's a lot of tricks and really cool, pretty stuff, but when you get to a university, it's more about feeling stuff and, you know, exploring the art form rather than just trying to make stuff look really cool.
So, to clarify, Laura, you're familiar with the local studios. So, like Studio K, for example, is what she's referring to, right?
Yeah.
Where they do a lot of productions that are beautiful productions, but it's not necessarily the study of the dance in theory.
Exactly, yeah, and I think in a college setting you're also learning about dance through historical perspectives and kind of broadening your concept of what dance can be in the world, as opposed to just the kind of umbrella world of studio dance, which is a great thing, and that's how a lot of students come to really find a passion and want to continue dancing. But yeah, it really does shift for a lot of students once they leave high school and go to college. What they thought dance was kind of opens up into something really new.
So did you have an eye-opener?
Yes, but I wouldn't change it. I think studio dancing really helped me a lot.
Sure it did.
To appreciate
wonderful
dance.
Foundation.
Yes.
And also all that experience all those years.
Yes.
You know, you had to have grown you as a dancer.
Yes.
And then now you're ready for the next phase.
Yes.
So what's your plan?
After I graduate, I hope to continue choreographing and dancing.
Are you going to become another Laurie?
Maybe. I hope to. I hope to go to grad school and maybe even become a professor one day.
That's great. You're a great role model.
Someone needs to take over when I retire.
Well,
You don't want to wait that long. You're too young for that. Let's think of an older stuff.
It'll happen before I know it.
Now, Laurie, you kind of had a similar experience. I know you grew up in studio dancing. You had to have in this community. You know.
Yeah, I sure did. I danced both at Studio K and at Northwestern Dance Studios, two of the larger studios in town. And I also studied at North Carolina School of the Arts when I was in high school.
That's great.
So and I also took classes at Appalachian as a high school student.
Wow.
So I kind of had my hands in all of the different options I could have as a local person. And I think I felt so fortunate to be able to step into all those.
You were. And to a great extent, growing up in this community, which is very arts focused in the first place. But also, I know your mother and I know how arts focused she is. I'm sure she encouraged you in that. But then also the advantage of being a faculty kid and finding out about options that you might not have found out about otherwise.
Absolutely, and I have very strong memories of attending the Appalachian Dance Ensemble as a child, and how wonderful that was to get exposure from coming from a studio background and seeing college dancers
and
thinking, oh, maybe I could do this.
Yes. Yeah. Now, this is coming up when?
Next week. So it starts, the opening night is February 26th, and it runs through March 1st.
I love that y'all do this at the end of February so that it's like, finally the winter's over. We can
Hopefully the winter is over.
It's the marker anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, now this is going to be held at where?
This will be in Valborg Theater, which is on campus. The entrance to Valborg Theater is just behind the back side of the Turchin Center. You can buy tickets at the Valborg Theater box office or the Schaefer Theater box office.
And performance times are?
7:30 p.m.
every
each
night.
night.
Okay. And so now there are several. If you've never heard about the Spring Appalachian Dance Ensemble, it is a composite of several performances. How many different performances are we going to be able to see?
Yeah, so we have 8 dances on the program. 4 are student choreographers, and we have 3 faculty choreographers, and then a guest choreographer who's come in and set work on students. And that's Roger Bellman. He's a professor at Florida State University and formerly at ECU. So that's been a wonderful addition to this program.
So you're going to see some real diverse stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Now, are there a lot of diverse styles going to be showcased this time around?
The program is modern-based primarily, but within that there's more of a jazz style, I think, in Nisha's work, and modern covers, you know, a broad, again, I'll use that word, umbrella. So very unique styles, still modern-based.
Great. Now, one thing I've learned by doing these interviews, and that I really was not that familiar, I'm not real familiar with the dance world myself, and so I didn't realize until I'd started doing these interviews that dancing often is a storytelling process, and that there's a theme behind almost all the dances that describes some story or some emotion or something someone is trying to communicate. So Nisha, what are you trying to communicate in the piece that you choreographed?
Well, my piece is about, you know, finding that balance between being like a strong and powerful woman, but also like finding that element of being sultry but not too much. You know, you don't want to be too sexy, but, you know, still be appealing and tasteful to people.
Walking that tightrope.
Yes.
So did you dream this up on your own, or where'd you get the inspiration?
I just kind of woke up one day and I heard the song and I was like, this is something I definitely want to explore with.
That's cool. That's cool. Now, what are some of the other themes that we'll be hearing about and are seeing, I should say, in the other song, other dances? I mean,
we've got one of the faculty works. Holly Rourke has done a work based on relationships and problems in relationships, ideas of love, love lasting, love fading. I think it's kind of humorous at times, serious at times. We have a piece that Sharon Price, another faculty choreographer, has done based on his family background and his grandfather's life story. His grandfather ran a juke joint gas station down in the Chapel Hill area from the 1940s to the 70s.
Wow.
And it's about his memories of that. And Nisha's actually in that piece. I don't know if you have anything else you want to say about it.
Yeah, it's just also showing the relationship between his grandfather and grandmother, which I'm playing his grandmother. And it's about prohibition and all like sneaking around at the time because with the liquor and stuff. So it's a fun piece.
that sounds really enticing.
Yeah.
So, and we have some other really cool things.
We do. We have Emily Dottridge, another faculty member, has choreographed a work in collaboration with Dr. Sean Roberts, who's a musician composer in the area, and that piece is less of a actual storytelling and more of a music visualization and collaboration
and
between music and dance.
And I think that's what I always used to conceive as dance, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
As opposed to storytelling. And it was really kind of an eye-opener for me to realize that there are often stories, you know, in many pieces.
Yeah.
So you have some others?
Yes. Nisha, do you want to speak to some of the student works?
Jenna Veal, she's doing a piece about facing your inner demons and how inner demons can become like a virus and continue to spread and become bigger and bigger and almost become out of control.
Very interesting.
Yeah, pretty interesting piece.
I bet.
And
Caitlin
Curran, her piece is about being in a very structured society and what would happen if something went terribly wrong and people just didn't know what to do because they didn't have that structure anymore. So.
And then we have one more student work by Caroline Daniel, who is a dance studies major and art major. And her work is about some of the techniques that she uses as an art major in mark making and how she can translate that into dance making
How
and use of her
interesting.
body. Yeah.
I find that fascinating.
I do too, yeah. So again, a really diverse lineup and approach, and also because the choreographers are all working with really unique and distinct ideas. There's a variety of music that's part of the production as well. We have Mozart to, who is Sharon using? There's,
I'm actually not sure.
not remember. Miles Davis.
Yes.
Miles Davis to Mozart to more pop music
Well, that
kind
is
of
a variety.
choices.
So it's not like you're going to get stuck in some groove and fall asleep. It's going to be a long
I don't think
variety.
so.
Yeah.
And if there's something that isn't quite your cup of tea, the next piece, you
That's
know,
really
might-
neat
yeah.
about these productions, that there's
Yeah.
always a little bit of variety. that,
Absolutely.
or a lot of variety. So let's repeat again the dates and the times.
Yeah, so it is Wednesday, February 26th through Saturday, March 1st at 7:30 each night
Yeah.
in Valborg Theater.
And they can get tickets by calling the numbers, which we're putting on the screen.
Wonderful.
And so, and also, frankly, if they're not sure, they can go to www.theater.appstate.edu.
Yep.
And so I encourage you to go out and enjoy this. Valborg is a wonderful theater, and it's just such a space that's so intimate. You feel like you are, especially for dance, I think it's ideal for dance.
I agree.
Because you're kind of almost part of the production. You're just right at it. No matter what seat you're sitting in, which is really kind of special, you know. So we're very fortunate to have such a beautiful set of facilities that the university provides in the community, but also such amazing talent and opportunities to enjoy the arts that our university brings to us. And thank you, girls, for coming and joining me today.
Thank you
So
so much for having us here.
Great to see you, and I hope that this is going to be just hugely successful, and I hope it starts spring.
Thank you, we do too.
Check our website, watauga-arts.org, for this and so much more.
Watauga Arts Council with your host, Cherry Johnson, serving arts in Watauga County for more than 30 years.